Thank you.
I do this all the time.
Yes. Yes. I'd like to welcome all of you to this this great ceremony, the naming of the Suzanne Benoit Trail, as part of the Fort Saskatchewan Prairie. Fort Saskatchewan Prairie is one of the last remaining prairie remnants in the capital region. The City of Fort Saskatchewan acquired the 13-hectare parcel of land in 2005 to protect the natural heritage so that the community can enjoy and study the diverse plant and animal life in the years to come. The city is pleased to have played a role in the preservation of the Fort Saskatchewan Prairie. But more so, we're so thankful for Suzanne's efforts here. From what I understand, Suzanne has pulled more than 1 million weeds. Suzanne has identified the invasive plants that have been removed and cataloged, and identified most of the native species in the area. For her efforts, she was nominated and received a Canadian Hometown Hero Award in 2010, and was the subject of a feature article in the Edmonton Journal on November 8th, 2010. Suzanne has many stories to share about her time spent leading in the Fort Saskatchewan Prairie, and I'm sure she will try to recruit all of you here today for future campaigns, future winning campaigns.
I hate to break it to you, but she already has.
Suzanne was born and raised in Vermilion, Alberta, and moved to Fort Saskatchewan in 1999. An avid bird watcher, she has traveled the world and estimates she has seen over 1,500 different bird species. That's amazing.
Yeah.
While hosting a guided tour through the Fort Saskatchewan Prairie, Suzanne met members of the Edmonton Naturalization Group, which she joined in 2006. Through their efforts to collect seeds and grow the native plants in a nursery, they have been able to replant areas that were being taken over by invasive species. Suzanne, I can tell you, my family and I enjoy walks through this area as often as we can. My wife also wanted to mention here today that the highlight of her spring walks are seeing the crocus plants coming up.
Yeah.
It's really...
You know spring is here when you see the crocus.
Yeah, that's what my wife says. It's my family and I are very thankful for your efforts, and thank you very much for such a wonderful place to visit. I'd like to call at this time Patsy Cottrell from the Edmonton Naturalist Society. Come up and sit. Naturalization Group, you're right, sorry.
Okay. Oh, yes. I'm Patsy Cottrell from the Edmonton Naturalization Group. I'm also with the Edmonton Nature Club, but that's not relevant today. Yeah, it's a great pleasure to be here, and I can't think of anyone who deserves this honour, and a more fitting honour than Suzanne, to have a trail named after her, because she has been truly dedicated to this prairie. I first met Suzanne, as far as I can recall, and my memory is actually a lot worse than yours, Suzanne, but I remember meeting you in the mountains in the Cardinal Divide area, and being really impressed by her dedication to bird watching, because she was camping out of this old truck, and she was absolutely determined that she was going to stay with her mentor and watch these birds. And then I sort of lost touch with her, but after I was sort of aware of her and I knew her name, and then sort of somehow we got together after Suzanne moved to Fort Saskatchewan, which I've just heard was in 1999. And I cannot remember how we just sort of coincided again. But anyway, it was absolutely to do with a Stoughton natural area, of which Suzanne was a steward, and of course with the Fort Saskatchewan Prairie here. And it was just great to meet her again. And when somebody mentioned her name, I said, "Oh, I know Suzanne Benoit." Anyway, Suzanne has had involvements with the prairie in a couple of capacities. One with the Fort Saskatchewan Naturalist Society, and I think there's a couple of people here from that society today who've also done work in the prairie. And the Fort Saskatchewan Naturalist Society was quite instrumental in amassing information on the prairie and presenting it to the city of Fort Saskatchewan and persuading them that this area really was worthy of formal preservation. And sort of at the time that this was being done, in 2005, when the city formally declared this as a natural reserve, Suzanne was president of the Fort Saskatchewan Naturalist Society. And the Fort Saskatchewan Naturalist Society still remains involved with this site, but it requires a good deal of management, and somehow or other the Edmonton Naturalization Group got involved. And we're a group that sort of specializes in salvaging native plants from areas that are going to be developed and growing them out at City of Edmonton Nursery. Cherry Dodd is in charge of that. She's here this afternoon. And in trying to rehabilitate sites that, natural sites that have become degraded, partly through neglect, partly through the influence of people, agricultural weeds come in, ATV vehicles come into these sites and so on, and they generally need a lot of management. And then Suzanne became involved with the Edmonton Naturalization Group, and that's sort of what we've tried to do, is to manage the area. I have to say, we don't really know what we're doing exactly, but we have good intentions. Of course, you know, the road to hell and good intentions. But the city have been remarkably tolerant in allowing us to do our own thing. And we are definitely trying to do our best to keep this prairie the lovely, diverse prairie that it really is. And I want to just take a moment to say that we really appreciate how supportive the City of Fort Saskatchewan has been. First of all, in recognizing, the significant features of this site, and then negotiating, getting municipal reserve, environmental reserve, and so on, to completely protect the full natural area, not just bits of it, but more or less the whole thing. Jim, the former mayor, Jim Sheesgreen, was always very positive, came out on our field trips, and this sort of positive attitude has been continued by Mayor Gail Couture and the current council. In fact, they even gave us some money last year to hire somebody to do some professional herbiciding of the smooth brome, which is a major alien invading weed here, and which we really need to keep down. Going back to Suzanne, I believe she was recommended to the city's names registry by the city manager, Dave Dubauskas, and he wrote in a letter to council in 2010, the dedication, love, hard work and passion that Suzanne Benoit has put towards the preservation of this small prairie oasis is unmatched by any encounter that I have had with any volunteer in my 25 years of local government. And I think that says it all. And we haven't got any recent statistics, but he recorded that she'd visited the site 49 days in 2010, and of course one doesn't come out a lot in the winter, and 60 days of visits in 2009. And Suzanne was very largely responsible for the complete creation of this little garden, which is vegetated entirely with native species, for keeping it weeded, for keeping administration on their toes with respect to providing water so that we could water any transplants we did, and recording any vandalism, any other intrusions and so on. So she's been a real caretaker of the site. and it's absolutely invaluable to have a local person with those kind of eyes and ears on the spot, as it were, almost full time. So yes, she's been extremely dedicated, and it's been wonderful knowing her. We're enjoying working with her. We hope that now the HIP operation has taken place, she'll be able to get a little bit farther down to the south end of the prairie.
I need a car.
That's it. She needs some chauffeur.
She needs a chauffeur.
As well as yes.
We'll put it in next year's budget.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, we'll remember
The action
that.
bus once a month.
There's an exception.
So we're grateful to the city for doing this. I think the Suzanne Benoit Trail is absolutely appropriate and fitting, and a good thank you for all her work, which we hope will continue. Thank you.
Thank you, Patsy. I'd like now to call Mayor Gail Katcher up to say a few words.
Good afternoon, friends and family of Suzanne. We're very pleased to have you join us here today for this very special occasion. And it's extremely an honor for me to say that we have some of our City Council joining us here today. In case you didn't get a chance to meet them, we have Councillor Garrettson with us. We have Councillor Hennick, Councillor Mather. Is there anybody else? I think that's 4 of us. So we've come out to help celebrate this wonderful occasion. I've had the privilege of working with Suzanne in the Fort Saskatchewan Prairie for several years now, and I know what a tremendous effort it is and how much work that Suzanne has personally put into this to restore this beautiful natural area. And I don't think you can actually capture it until you've walked the trails and seen the beauty of the flowers and the fauna, and actually catch the odd bird that's flying around there as well. And butterflies.
Yes. There's one there. He's just
It is definitely a
performing.
huge undertaking, and one that I know has been very taxing to Suzanne personally. And I know the assistance that Suzanne has received from the Edmonton Naturalization Group has been a real blessing for Suzanne and for the city of Fort Saskatchewan. We know this area has been dedicated, but we also know that we probably don't put as much time and effort into it as a city that we probably should. But the good news is it was identified as a great natural area and an area that needed to be protected. So Suzanne has really taken this under her wing, and I think the words that we have to say is thank you, because I don't know if our community really realizes what a remarkable gem that we have just behind us. And and when you listen to everybody talking about Suzanne, I was really caught off guard too by finding out that she'd only moved here in 1999. I actually thought you were born, raised here, and that you own this piece of land. But you know what? Suzanne is the type of person that needs to get things done. And because she became so interested in preserving this area, it was dedicated in 2008. And Suzanne has been giving tours of this area along with the ladies from the Edmonton Naturalization Group. And she has immediately found kindred spirits amongst these people and different organizations, and she has found so many friends in our community that want to join in and just embrace this. The Edmonton Naturalization Group has, as Patsy has said, has been helping to restore the plantings in the area, and I have to admit, when I come out on the planting days, if you're the youngest one out here, you have to haul the water, so just remember that.
Been there, done that.
But Suzanne has worked so hard on removing the invasive plants, and I think that one thing that when we talk about it is she has perseverance, because you know what? this area was filled with long grass before, and she kept saying, Gail, what are we going to do about it? Gail, we need to do something about it. She'd come and say, Gail, is there any way that we can get some water out here? You know, and can we do this? And oh my, you know, there's people plodding through here. We need to, you know, and Suzanne, you've been a real voice for this area. So, you know, to me, as I said, I personally thought this might have been your homestead, and that this was your actual route. So, you know, to have this trail dedicated to you for the countless hours that you've spent, and we know that for all the years to come there is going to be birds and animals for everybody to enjoy. And you know what? We need to appreciate everything that you've done. And I think it's very, very complimentary that we finally say thank you. But we say it while she's still with us.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm one of those, I always hate it when we recognize somebody after they've passed away, and I think that, you know, giving Suzanne this recognition goes a long way for somebody who's cared and loved this community, and it just speaks volumes for what she brings to this community. What we were going to go unveil the plaque and then bring Suzanne back for her comments, but rather than having her walk down and then walk back, I'm going to have
Stop. Pelicans, just in case you're interested, the river we're going across here. They're just for Suzanne.
Mom, stand up.
A salute. A salute to pelicans.
Pelicans.
You may not be able to see them.
Pelicans.
Sure they're pelicans?
Yes, I'm sure they're pelicans. You taught me everything I know.
So, Suzanne, you are a one-of-a-kind person, and I want to know that you have made a difference in this community. And may this trail dedication and this plaque in your honor tell all those who have visited here that someone took the time to care enough and honor this, and hopefully they'll return to see everything that has been accomplished. They should appreciate and respect this special place as much as you. So for us, the City of Fort Saskatchewan, our council, we thank you very much. So congratulations.
Sure. I'd like to just invite Suzanne up to say a few things. Just a few. As many as you want.
As many as you can stand.
Yes, or sit.
Mayor Gill, councillors, some of them just walked away.
On the back, we thought we were chasing a quad.
I was going to say, I heard something going on.
And friends and family. I'm proud to have a major part of my family is here today. I'm also glad that you're doing this while I'm alive. Who knows, I might be gone tomorrow.
Oh, no. Never. So could we be all?
And my daughter, I think I invited, what's the word?
Introduce.
I introduced you to my children. I think
Yeah.
Diane and John are from Red Deer. My son Roger is from Sherwood Park. And Crystal, where is she? There. And my daughter Marie.
Over there.
And she has 3 of her children here. Welcome. These girls are just out of high school, the twins, and they've already got jobs.
Good job.
Yeah.
Good job.
Who's next? Victor from Calgary. Thanks for coming. Roseanne from Edmonton. Where are you? Over there. All right. And my brother Robert is here from Edmonton. And I'm really touched by this. It is a great honor. I hardly believe that all the hours spent in pulling weeds
in Fort Saskatchewan Prairie come to this. I say a big thanks to you, Mayor Gale, and all in the Fort Saskatchewan City Management who got the ball rolling for this event. Mayor Gale is an example to follow. She has come to the prairie
And hauled water.
on occasions and helped with transplanting. And it's a job, but it's satisfying. FSP was the name given to this site back in 2005 in Mayor Jim Sheesgreen's time. And I want to thank him and park staff of that time for their support. I was new on the computer, green on the computer, and I think I caused many problems with the way I was sending messages. Thank you for your support anyway. I arrived in the fort in '99, became a Fort Saskatchewan Naturalist member in 201, and that's when I met Patsy on the trail here.
You remember.
He remembers everything.
What was the other? Gilbert? No.
Joyce School, Bill Richards.
A fellow that lives in Sherwood Park, I think. He was a plant person too. And you found
Graham Griffiths.
Griffith, yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
And they found some rare plants just on their little walk through the prairie. I was a member of the Naturalist Society in '02, resigned as a member in '07. I joined the Edmonton Naturalization Group following that. And I helped in their garden because they helped me with my garden. So we've got about maybe as many hours, one and the other. And I thank them, all of them, for guidance and help over the years since. I am aware, and you must be aware, that I am soon to be 88, and that I gave up my car on October 31 last year. That was before my hip surgery. I didn't think I'd survive. My eyesight is also fading slowly. I didn't want to be the cause of an accident or cause one, so I gave up my car. I miss it. I'm thankful to have my family here today, and even the little ones. And we've got a friend from Sherwood Park, part of the family, Tasha, and two little guys there. All right.
You're not a distraction at all.
No.
My sons were, when the story came out in the journal, on the front page of the journal, my son Roger just came back from a trip from down south. It was in November this happened. And Victor was in Ottawa at the time, and they commented between each other that, Mom got on the first page before we did, and they got on the business section page. I ask residents of Fort Saskatchewan today to please step up to the post. Help is desperately needed in the caretaker of this island of Fort Saskatchewan Prairie. It dates from way back, Ice Age, after the Ice Age. It's never been plowed. It's been used. It was first measured out in 1884.
Surveyed.
Yeah, surveyed. And then several farmers took over, but they never plowed the land. So the plants that are there are possibly from following the Ice Age. The grasses came before the trees.
How did you find it?
it's home to possibly 200 different kinds of plants here if we really studied the area. Many of the plants here are also were used by Aboriginals in their days, and they became the medicine doctors to treat the health of their people. And even today, plants are used as medicines for treating different conditions. When I started to work in FSP, I could identify many of the weeds, but I learned to name the names of the native plants there as the days went by with the help from the young people, Patsy, Sherry, Judith, Diana, Helene. They know their plants. It's awesome. One day in summertime, I stood at the top of the first hill here, and I was pretty proud to, just standing around and making a circle, I could identify 21 native plants. Which, for the present, you can get advice from the N group or myself. And I thank you all for here today, and God bless you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Suzanne. Just like one thing here, Judith,
Yes.
in the blue, hand up, has got a number of these wildflower brochures that if anybody wants one, is welcome to see Judith there, and she'll give you one. They are for sale for $2 at the museum.
Fort Saskatchewan Museum.
Yeah.
Yep.
They identify the flowers.
You can have one today. Oh, right.
I also want to
No trouble.
add to all this that my wife recently, we were doing some weeding in the backyard, and she mentioned that it is addictive. She said it's addictive. Holy meat. I will. Okay, so we'll go down now, if we can, and we'll go down to the unveiling of the plaque.